Good morning. Let's begin our journey with the very first habit from Stephen Covey: be proactive. To be proactive means to take full responsibility for your life. It is about choosing how you respond to situations instead of simply reacting. Think of it like driving. You're not just a passenger who complains about traffic, the weather, or other drivers. You are the one holding the wheel. You can choose your speed, your lane, your route, and most importantly, your attitude. Most people live reactively. They blame circumstances. I'm late because of traffic. I'm angry because of him. I can't succeed because of them. But Covey teaches us that between what happens to us and how we respond, there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom to choose. Being proactive doesn't mean controlling everything. It means controlling yourself, your thoughts, your words, your actions. For example, when someone cuts you off on the road, you can either explode in anger or take a deep breath and let it go. One choice drains your energy. The other protects your peace. Proactivity is power. It puts you in the driver's seat of life. Instead of waiting for conditions to be perfect, you act with what you have. Instead of saying, "I can't," you ask, "What can I do?" So as you drive this morning, remember, you are not a victim of traffic, weather, or circumstance. You are the driver. Choose wisely. And once you've taken the wheel with responsibility, the next question is, where am I going? That brings us to the second habit. Begin with the end in mind. After taking responsibility for holding the wheel of your life, the next step is clarity. Begin with the end in mind. Imagine starting your drive without knowing your destination. You might keep moving, but every turn feels random, every mile uncertain. That's how many people live busy, active, but without direction. Covey reminds us, effectiveness begins with vision. To begin with the end in mind means to picture the outcome before you act. Just as you type an address into your GPS before starting the engine, you must define your destination in life. What kind of person do you want to be? What values matter most? What legacy do you want to leave behind? This habit shifts your focus from busyness to purpose. For example, if your end is to live with integrity, then even in small daily choices like keeping promises or speaking truth, you steer in that direction. If your end is to be a loving parent, then how you spend your evenings changes. On the road, accidents happen when drivers act without awareness of where they're going. In life, wasted years happen when people act without clarity of purpose. With the end in mind, every choice becomes aligned. So as you drive this morning, ask yourself, where am I going not just today, but in life? Set that vision clearly and let it guide your steps. But vision alone isn't enough. Once you know your destination, you must prioritize your route. That brings us to the third habit. Put first things first. Picture this. You're rushing out the door in the morning. You jump into the car, turn the key, and speed off, only to realize halfway that you forgot your wallet, your phone, maybe even your laptop. You were moving fast, but not on the right priorities. Stephen Covey's third habit, put first things first, is about this exact mistake. It's not enough to know where you're going, you must focus on what truly matters, not just what feels urgent. On the road, this means choosing the main route that gets you closer to your destination, even if it looks busier, rather than wasting time circling side streets. In life, it means handling the big, important things: health, relationships, personal growth before drowning in emails, errands, or distractions. Covey uses a famous metaphor. Imagine filling a jar with big rocks, pebbles, and sand. If you put the sand and pebbles in first, the rocks won't fit. But if you put the big rocks first, the smaller things settle around them. Your life is the same jar. If you don't prioritize what's essential, the trivial will consume all the space. So as you're driving now, look at the road ahead. Ask yourself, what are my big rocks today? What deserves the best of my energy before everything else? Because effectiveness is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things first. And once you know how to prioritize your time and energy, the next step is learning how to relate to others. Because success is never a solo journey. That's where the fourth habit comes in. Think win-win. Think about it every morning on the road. Everyone wants to get there faster. But if all drivers start cutting in, honking, and fighting for space, what happens? Gridlock. No one arrives sooner, and the stress only piles up. That's exactly why Covey introduces the fourth habit. Think win-win. It's not I win, you lose, but the mindset, we both can arrive better together. On the road, win-win means letting a car merge or giving way to a pedestrian. Just a few seconds of courtesy, and the entire flow of traffic moves more smoothly. You feel lighter, too. Life works the same way. If you always approach relationships with, I must get ahead, sooner or later trust breaks down. But if you think together, we all go further, the results change completely. At work, for example, instead of hiding information so you look smarter, you share it so the team succeeds. In the end, your contribution still shines, maybe even more. Win-win doesn't mean you always compromise, and it doesn't mean letting people take advantage. It's about seeing the long-term picture. Your success is linked with the success of others. On the road, it's traffic flow. In life, it's careers, family, and friendships. So notice it on your drive today. Give way a little, cooperate a little, and suddenly the journey feels smoother. That's the power of win-win. There's a story about a father and his teenage son. The father was frustrated because his son wasn't doing well in school. Every evening, the father would lecture him. You need to study harder. You're wasting your potential. You must do better. But the son never changed. He only grew quieter, more distant. One day, the father decided to try something different. Instead of lecturing, he asked, "Tell me what's going on?" At first, the son hesitated, but slowly, he admitted he was struggling with bullying at school. He wasn't failing because he was lazy, he was carrying pain the father had never noticed. In that moment, everything shifted. By listening first, the father finally understood his son, and only then could he truly help. That's the essence of habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most of us listen with the intent to reply. We wait for the other person to finish, just so we can talk back. But effective communication doesn't start with speaking. It starts with listening. Listening to understand, not to judge, not to prepare a comeback. On the road, it's the same. Imagine driving without paying attention to signals, horns, or the movement of traffic. You'd create chaos. But when you truly observe, when you pay attention first, your actions become safer, smoother, and more effective. In life, when you listen first, people open up. They trust you. And once they feel understood, they're far more willing to hear your perspective. That's when communication becomes real. So as you drive this morning, ask yourself, am I listening to understand or just to respond? If you can pause, tune in, and truly hear someone, you'll find that relationships flow just like a smooth road, open, clear, and connected. And when people truly understand each other, something powerful happens. Cooperation turns into synergy. That brings us to the 6th habit, synergize. If you've ever watched traffic from above a highway, seen from a bridge or an airplane, you notice something beautiful. Hundreds of cars, each driven by different people with different destinations, all moving together like a living river of light. That is synergy. Stephen Covey's sixth habit, synergize, means creating results greater than what individuals could achieve alone. It's not just cooperation. It's about combining differences, strengths, perspectives, skills into something new, something better. Think of an orchestra. A violin sounds lovely on its own, but when joined by drums, piano, and horns, the music becomes something you could never create with one instrument. On the road, when drivers cooperate, keeping lanes, following signals, giving space, the flow of traffic is smoother than if everyone tried to force their own way. In life, synergy is about valuing differences, not fearing them. Most of us like people who think like us, but true synergy comes from listening to those who see things differently. A coworker with another style may frustrate you at first, but together, you might create an idea neither of you could have alone. Covey often said, "The whole is greater than the sum of its parts." That's the heart of synergy. So, during your drive this morning, notice how synergy is everywhere. Cars aligning to form a steady stream, traffic lights coordinating to keep the city moving, even the way roads connect different neighborhoods into one living system. That's the lesson for us. When we align with others instead of fighting them, life flows more smoothly. Remember, synergy is not about giving up your uniqueness. It's about bringing your uniqueness into harmony with others. Just as a car contributes its light to the river of traffic, you contribute your perspective to the greater whole. And yet, no matter how well you drive, no matter how smooth the flow, you cannot go far without refueling and maintenance. That's the seventh habit, sharpen the saw. Imagine driving your car every single day, rushing from one destination to the next, but never stopping for fuel, never checking the tires, never changing the oil. For a while, it might seem fine, but eventually, the car breaks down not because it wasn't strong, but because it was never renewed. Stephen Covey's seventh habit, sharpen the saw, is about renewal. Just as a car needs maintenance, you need to care for your body, mind, heart, and spirit. Without renewal, effectiveness fades. With renewal, you gain energy to go further. Covey described 4 dimensions of renewal: physical, exercise, rest, healthy food like giving your car good fuel; mental, reading, learning, challenging your mind, upgrading the engine; emotional, divided by social, relationships, empathy, connection, keeping the ride meaningful; spiritual, meditation, reflection, purpose, your inner compass, like the GPS guiding you. When you sharpen the saw, you prevent burnout. You keep your life balanced. You prepare not just for today's drive, but for a lifetime of journeys. As you're driving this morning, think, when was the last time you truly recharged? Are you running on empty? Or are you fueling yourself for the long road? Renewal isn't selfish, it's necessary. A well-rested, recharged, you can give more, create more, and live more. So let's recap the 7 habits. 1. Be proactive, take the wheel. 2. Begin with the end in mind, set your destination. 3. Put first things first, prioritize the main road. 4. Think win-win, drive in harmony with others. 5. Seek first to understand, listen before acting. 6. Synergize, flow together, stronger as a whole. 7. Sharpen the saw, renew yourself for the long journey. These habits are more than strategies. They are principles, guides for a life that is not only effective, but deeply meaningful. If this reflection gave you clarity, do one small thing right now. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who wants to live with purpose. Your support helps this wisdom reach more people who need it. And don't stop here. The next episode of Morning Drive Quotes takes us into another life-changing book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, where we explore how thoughts, faith, and persistence can create extraordinary success. Until then, keep driving mindfully, keep renewing yourself, and remember, effectiveness is not about speed, but about direction and balance.